Oh my goodness, I'm so excited for this hour. Let me show you what we are making before we go anywhere. Let me show you these. The kits that we've got for you today will make you these most incredible bees. Aren't they just gorgeous? You've got to stay tuned this hour to learn how to make those. Right, before we get going on that, you know I'm bringing you extra special savings because if 30% wasn't enough, then, you know, we'll just bring you more because we can. Now, this is more than 30% off. This is, Christopher, half price. That's Jessie, just to clarify, I would like to say that is 50% off. Thanks for that clarity there, Jessie, just in case anybody couldn't work out, 50% is half. £2.24. This is for your Visaline Solufleece embroidery backer, a metre piece of that. If you love your embroidery, you need to stock up on that. And I will be picking Helen's brains as to exactly how we use that and why we use it in just a minute, because it's the sort of thing that when I see it at that price, I put it in my basket and then work out what I use it for afterwards. I do! Does anybody else do that? Just me? No? Good. Okay, awkward. Loads of baskets already. Yeah, if you don't know what it is, don't worry, just check it out. Make sure you get it. Helen will tell us and that will all be good. Right. Should we move on? Busy bees. These are gorgeous. So this is how these kits work. What I have for you here are 3 different kits, and the difference in each one of these will be the coloured silk. I mean, my goodness. Not only is the bee exquisite, but he's on silk. It is a work of art. Now, the closest colourway that we have to this is this one here. So that will be the Dupion silk. Yeah, I mean, you know, posh, right? That you can embroider onto. Stunning. Stunning. And what you get in here is your fat quarter. You are also getting a fat quarter of calico. You are also getting felt, because that's going to give the zhuzh to his body. Helen will give you the technical terms. I'm going to say zhuzh, oomph to his body, giving him like an uplift, little push-up. You're also getting 3 embroidery skeins, and you're also getting 3 threads as well. Amazing. Now, you also get like the biggest instruction book, just incredible. More in baskets are available here because, I mean, this is on a discount too. I haven't even mentioned the fact that you've got nearly a £7 saving. They are your templates on the back there. You do need to buy the metallic thread separately, and I'll tell you why we've done that, because I know that otherwise there'll be the embroidery threads and everything there will do you for a couple of kits, right? The thread in here will do you for the 3 different sizes. So if you want to do multiple bees, because once you get going on this, all your friends are going to want them too. So if you want to do multiple bees, if you've looked at that like I have and gone, that is one of the most beautiful, exquisite things we have ever brought to wear here. Ever. ... ever. Oh yeah, it might help if I actually get them out so you can see what's in there. Then you want the mystery white package. Let's have a look, shall we? I don't really understand what Helen does, so I'm quite intrigued. I'm being honest. I've not done a show with Helen before, so I'm very excited. So that just looks weird to me, but makes amazing antennae. And then you get these glorious things. I don't know what it does, but it's really pretty. This is what you're going to be doing your embroidery with. This is the sort of thing that I would see in a shop and shy away from, because I'd be like, I don't know what I'm doing with that. But Helen's going to show you today, mystery solved. This should have been £28.99, so we've taken £8.70 off the price of this today. So yeah, do you know, yeah, amazing prices off. So if you are buying multiples, remember this has never been to air before either. This is brand new today, £8 something off that. what are we looking at? £8.70 off the price of this. The reason we've done this and bundled this separately is so that you can buy multiples of this. This will do big, medium, small, with a little bit of wiggle room. And if you want to do multiples, then just buy more of this stuff. This is the stuff that's tricky to get hold of. So buy multiples of that. I can't get that back in the packet. We'll look at that later. Right, it's all right, it's all right. Let's have a look at the next colourway. So on here, you've got the same felt for the oomph for the bee. And then you've got your calico again. But what you've also got here, so this is going to be your bees on blue. This is aqua, Dupion silk. I mean, hello, swanky or what? Plus, just bear in mind that your blue is your complementary colour to yellow. So that is going to pop, 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 pop. Should have been $25.99 down to $18.19. You are getting a fat quarter of your Dupion Indian silk. You are getting your felt. You are getting your embroidery skeins. You are getting your sewing threads. You are also getting your calico, all in there, plus all of your instructions and patterns. That's a cracking price on its own. If everybody checks out, there's less than 10 of these. These are so popular. I'm not surprised. I mean, look at it, it's gorgeous. I don't even embroider and I want to make this. I'm going to start. You've inspired me. Because I had so much spare time already. Right. Now this is one, didn't we just sell out of the blush in the last hour? Yes. So this is your blush. Here it is in a kit for you. Should have been $22.49 down to $15.74. Now again, you've also got everything else the same in terms of your instructions, your threads, your embroidery skeins, your felt for the zhuzh, and your calico. Pop it in your basket, check it out. And make a saving, why not? Why not? Treat yourself. So popular. And also, did you get your Vaseline as well? Because that was just £2 something. Pop that in, you'll work out what to do with it in a minute. And half of the stock of that one gone already. Right, okay, so one more to show you. Oh, okay, so we had to give it to Helen to use. So it's going to be exactly the same in terms of everything else. It's just the silk that's a different colour. So it's that one, and it's got that beautiful pale pink. Can I show you on here? Look. There it is. That's your pale pink one. Dupion silk. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Incredibly delicate, incredibly beautiful, just stunning. Helen, hello!
Hello.
Welcome to Sewing Quarter.
Thank you, lovely to see you.
And you, thank you for coming in bright and early.
Yeah.
My word. I'm really speechless.
We're making a stitching goddess of you yet.
Wow.
Seducing you with the metal threads, it's always the bling.
It is the bling.
Always the bling.
Talking of bling, please can you turn around?
Oh yeah, I can. You see? Sparkling under the lights yet?
Are you sparkling?
Am I sparkling? Am I twinkling?
You are like some sort of embroidery angel here today.
It's here to solve all the problems, you know?
Right.
Get all your stitching things done, show you how to do it. It's so easy.
Yeah,
Book you in.
because I'm not
Help you see the light with the stitch in here, the embroidery.
Helen, when I look at this is not something I think is going to go through fabric easily or anything like that.
Yeah, you see there's so many different types of metal threads, and some of them are designed to sit on top of the fabric, some of them are designed to go through the fabric. So these ones we're using today are designed to sit on top of the fabric, so you use them a bit like a long bead. You control how long you want them to be, you stitch through them, hold them down. They're so nice, so straightforward. You'll be seduced.
This is why I need someone like you, because otherwise I'd see these on the shelf and go, really pretty, don't know what to do with it.
Nice shine, not too sure. Yeah.
I'd be seduced by the bling, you're quite right. I'd be seduced by the bling, and then it would sit in my cupboard until someone like you came along and told me what to do with it.
Showed you the way.
These you can buy. The metal thread bundle is down there, so buy as many of those as you want. It will do the 3 bees. with a little bit of wiggle room.
Absolutely, yeah. So there's a bit of room for manoeuvre. If you want to do a little bit of sampling, test it out on the side first, there's got extra in there so that you can do that.
Gorgeous.
So.
What skill level do I need to be?
Do you know what? It's basically be enthusiastic. It's
I
not
can do enthusiastic.
complex.
Okay.
Everything's shown step by step. It's just being a little bit patient because I'm potentially introducing you to a technique you haven't done before.
Right.
You're never going to do something perfect first time around. That's why there's extra in the pack.
Okay.
So that you've got a bit of wiggle room to play with it. So I'd suggest some of the stuff that you feel really confident with, just go for it.
Yeah.
Bits that you're not too sure about, maybe using these or these, have a little play and a practice with it first because there is extra in the pack for you to be able to do that. So
that's really vital to me because if I buy a pack and I think that if I mess up, I'm going to run out and not be able to do the project.
Backs against the wall.
Do it.
No, exactly.
And how silly is that? Because then I don't end up with any of it.
Yeah.
So you've got wiggle room.
Yeah, there's a bit of wiggle room on there so that you can play. And also you've got 3 sizes, so this is the biggest project. So basically this is the simplest one. Start with the little one and work your way up.
Hang on, he's the simplest one. I would have thought that little would have been more detailed.
No, it's the same kind of work, but there's obviously less of it in his. So you basically just have to have a little go so you feel comfortable and confident. You know, if you think he's a bit small for you, go for the medium size. But it's, as I say, there's loads to play with, and it's the same kind of techniques that we're playing with, just so that you could use them for different things. So you can have a little family of bees, have your own little hive. But
you know the swans up the wall, upstairs, the ducks,
the flying ducks.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll just grade them up your wall. It'd be great.
How
it's
would
quite
you?
Cute, actually.
Yeah, they're lovely.
Get some of those little hexy frames.
Oh yes. Oh, that would be gorgeous. Oh yes, do that. And talking about framing, how would you frame these? Or
Well,
what would you do with
I mean,
them?
you could put them just in a normal ring frame. You could put in one of the hexagonal frames that you can get. You could do that. You could also, though, if you wanted to, I know you've got the backing fabrics there you were selling. What you could do is before you put the silk into the frame, you could just iron the backing onto the silk.
Right. Okay. So this is what we're talking about. This is our 50% because apparently that's half price according to Jessie, who likes to tell us these things. And so this is your interfacing.
Yes, so your interfacing, you could apply it to the back of the silk carefully, just on a low heat.
Yeah.
And then it just means that if you wanted to, for example, put this into a box lid, the large one into a box lid, and the medium one you could make into the front of a scissors case, needle case, whatever. The small one you could make into a little, like a pendant even, or a brooch.
Now, hang on, how do I do that? Because that's
So all
amazing.
you'd need to do is you'd need to just trim it out, leaving a little bit of room to turn it under, so say like 1/2 centimetre. So you've already put your backing onto the silk so it's secure, it's not going to fray as much.
Yeah.
Cut away the calico backing, because we layer up the calico for strength, that's all.
Is that why the calico's there?
Yeah, just give you a bit of security into your stitching, so that, because you're obviously working with metals, so you want to be able to just give it a bit more body.
Yeah.
So that's all the calico's there for. Once you've actually finished the embroidery work, you can trim the calico away right up to the embroidery edge if you want.
Do I need the calico if I'm using this?
I would use it just to be belt and braces.
You're an expert. I'm sold. Right.
So it's just a bit more security for you. The more the better, really.
Okay.
So, and then you could just trim it round and then just turn it onto some extra felt. You've got extra felt. You could use that as a backing for your brooch then, or your little pendant.
Brilliant.
Lots of ideas.
Brilliant. Yes. Yes.
Right.
Stunning. Where do we start?
Well, with this little chap, I thought I'd demonstrate a bit of felt padding. So there's lots of different ways of padding for gold work, and we've not really talked about it before. So there's normally soft string and craft felt are the 2 basic ones. So I'm going to demonstrate craft felt.
Soft
string. Don't worry, we're not doing it today. So look, we'll move on from
Forget that.
But we're doing craft felt padding. So what we're going to do is on the large bee, we're going to do 3 layers of craft felt. So you've got your craft felt in your pack. So I've cut a little bit off here so you can see that.
You get loads actually.
You get a massive piece.
Sheet.
But also that's good because, as I say, if you want to put them into brooches or things like that, you could use that as your backing for it, pad it up. So so that's great. So what you do with this is you've got templates on the back of your pack. So all you need to do is to put your light box on and then draw round your template onto your felt.
It's always handy to have a light box, isn't it? Especially on dreary days like today, because the
Exactly.
the universal light box.
The
is
universal
not great.
light box of the window sometimes doesn't work so great on a dark
On a
day. You might be
dreary
better
day.
off putting your lights on and then standing outside if it's not raining. But all you need to do is to trim round just onto the drawn edge that you've drawn on.
Okay.
Okay, so you can see I'm just trimming it round. In good old fashion, here's some I prepared
Oh,
earlier.
beautiful. Right.
Oh, so we're going to do it 3 layers, and the thing is that people quite often get the wrong way round. So they put their small layers on top and their big layers underneath.
Yes, is
And
that not right?
No, it means that you're going to get a little stack. It's going to look like a little stepped
Like a
effect.
pyramid.
Exactly.
A bee
So
pyramid.
you want a lovely domed effect to your bee. You don't want him to look like he swallowed something he shouldn't have done. So,
bee.
so basically, we're going to put the little ones on first, and it's really lovely because the smallest one, you only need to put stitch in north, south, east, west on each piece. So I've got one here and one here. And then I've stuck to a dark thread here. So I'd obviously use the white thread in the pack. But all I'm doing is I'm coming up in the fabric and going down into the felt.
So you don't glue this in or anything?
No,
do you?
no glue whatsoever.
glue.
All
Okay.
stitched. So you just need to, as I say, put a stitch in at north, south, east and
Oh,
west.
so it's just a tiny little holding stitch
Yeah.
on the edge?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a really nice thing. You can use it to layer up different areas, even if you're doing things like applique, you know, where you're applying a fabric and you want certain areas higher than others.
Yeah.
You can also use it for other techniques. So you could, if you wanted to, pad up areas of things to do surface stitching in as well, so that you've got some things higher than others for that. So and then you can stitch over them as normal. So you can see I'm just holding them in place because the medium one's going to hold the small one in,
Right.
and then the big one's going to hold the
Everything
medium in. So it's
Yeah.
all just kind of holding it in place. So as you can see, I'm using, so you can actually see it, I'm using the black thread.
Mm-hmm.
But as I say, you'd normally use the same colour as the felt that you're using. And then, as I say, with the top layer, just sits on top.
Hang on, which bundle's sold out? All of them? They've all gone.
Okay, that's nice. So I'm going to put stitches in at like every kind of centimetre,
Yeah.
just so that I can position it into the correct place. So I'm coming up on the paint line,
Yeah.
drawn line, going down into the felt.
Uh-huh.
Just a nice little stitch.
So you've got calico, then your silk. It's in a
In the hoop.
hoop. And what needle are you using? That's the other thing I need
I'm
to know.
using a size 10, so you want a size 10 or 12 embroidery needle.
Hang
And
on.
the reason for that,
Is that this one out here? Here we go.
no,
That's
Nope.
a size 7, right? Okay, size, I don't know where.
I
Oh,
think
there
Chris
it is.
had got
It's over
some
here.
over there.
Right, here we are. There. Ta-da.
yeah, lovely. So the reason for that is that you want later on to have a needle that will go through the metals that we're going to use
Right.
like beads. So if you find that this is too small for you to want to use for the general stitching, then use a large, I mean, we are only using machine threads here, so you could use whatever you like. But
And then these needles are 69p.
oh my goodness, I might be getting some of them.
You get 16 in there for 69p.
That's ridiculous, isn't it?
We were taking 30% off it.
Yeah,
Jesse says, what's that per needle? Not much.
I
Get
might,
some pence.
I might be stocking up on those.
Yeah, no, well, but
Better
that's
come
what
off
this
there.
is for, isn't it? This is your stock up.
Absolutely.
4.3 pence per needle.
It's not like you're not going to use them, is it?
No.
Those are even things like household repairs. You'll use those because there are a range of sizes.
Yeah.
They're 5 to 10. So
And it's not like they wear, it's not like, you know, you go, oh, well, no, hang on, I've had that for a year, sat in a packet, I can't use it now.
No.
It's not like milk. It's
no,
not gonna
I
go
mean the
off.
only thing about needles is that if you've got, some people have got slightly more oily hands than
Right,
others.
yes.
So sometimes if you've been using them and the shiny coating goes off them, you want to look at maybe discarding that needle safely, because by the time the coating has gone off them, they're not as pleasing to use, so they don't pass through the fabric as smoothly.
But
And
if you
that's-
haven't used them at all, they're just
if you
been sat
haven't
in your
used them, they
cupboard,
just sit
they're gonna be
happily
all
in the
right.
cupboard. They're absolutely fine. So I mean, they're great. So,
I have a Tic Tac box
yeah.
for all of my sharps, my
Oh,
needles
okay,
and
yeah.
broken needles and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and broken
I think that's a
pins.
good idea actually.
Yeah, little Tic Tac box, and it was a great excuse to get one of the big ones and eat all of those.
I've got a little tin, but it's got a big piece of blue tack in the middle of it, and I
Right.
put them point down
Okay.
into the blue tack,
Oh, safe.
so that when they're discarded, I discard them safely,
Yeah.
but so that nobody.
Nobody hurts
The amount of
themselves.
people that poke themselves putting things into a sharps box.
Yeah, no, you're so right. You're so right.
So It's you just discard them into the sharps box, and they're like, really hurt myself
really
now.
did it.
So
hang on. So we're not doing north, south, east, west on this.
no. So what I've done is I've stitched it about every centimetre all the way around to position it into the right place. Because if you intensely stitch on this one, you'll end up with it shifting off the position that you want it to be. So you just hold it in place.
Shifty bee.
Absolutely, it's at work, so looks busy. So that's the thing. Never stays put.
Very busy today.
Oh, absolutely.
Bee and everything.
So basically, once you've done those stitches, you then need to put stitches at about every kind of 2 millimetres.
Okay.
All the way around the edge. The idea is not that it should have a frill. It shouldn't look like a Cornish pasty. Okay.
Cornish pasty.
Me too, but not when you're stitching.
Okay.
So basically, we want to securely hold all of that down.
Right.
And once you've gone all the way round on that bee, so let's pretend I've gone all the way round so we can show you other things. What you want to do is to segment off this section and this section as well.
So that's why you drew those on as well. So you didn't just draw around the outside, you drew the detail in as well.
Exactly. These lines on the top are going to be, on the bottom bit of the bee, on his bum, are going to be to help me work out how big these gold sections are. So, and then when I do the dividing lines here, it's to work out the different segments. So basically all I'm doing is I'm going to backstitch around that little segment there, and it's also going to really give definition to the different segments of the body, so it really makes it padded.
So whilst you do that, let me show you the big bad boy bee, and you can really look. Oh, that's a good shot.
It does really raise it up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So that's the lovely thing about it, because the metal's quite soft, it holds the form of what you put underneath it. So basically it has quite a sculptural finish. So that's why you're bothering to put that low, because people are like, that's a lot of effort to go to when you're going to be covering it up.
No, it's perfect.
To be honest, it gives you that definition and body that you want that to have. So you can really see the difference between those where it kind of really sinks in.
Yeah.
So it's surprising what you can do just with
and
those.
That's with a back stitch.
Yeah, just back stitched all the way down. So you do that at the bottom of the head there, and at the bottom where the upper body meets the lower body.
Okay, Carrie, yes, the fabric is sold out. I don't know about, have the metal threads sold out yet? Over the half of the stock of the metal threads have gone.
Right, okay.
But the kits have gone.
Okay. Wow.
Wow. If you've bought the kit, you need these. You can't do, these are not in the kit.
Yeah.
We're selling these separately so that you can do multi-bees.
Yeah. Get your own colony going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone needs a fuzzy buzzy in their life.
Do.
Yeah. So basically, as I say, once you've done all of that, we can then start to get onto the exciting stuff. So I'm just going to finish.
Look at this. Look at it.
Well,
there's no messing around here.
I just want to finish off my thread so that it's not going to get tangled in the way. So
Helen, how do you get into this?
Actually, it was pure chance for me. I was actually training to be a printer and dyer, doing art history and printing and dyeing at university, and I was looking to work in that field. Yeah. And I was in the careers library, and I pulled out a booklet, and a booklet from the Royal School of Needlework landed on my feet, which I'd never heard of the Royal School of Needlework. I loved the look of embroidery, but it wasn't a stitcher.
Yours is my favourite chapter in the book, I have to say.
Aww,
that robin,
thank
just
you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. But yeah, so that it was just pure chance. The leaflet fell on my feet. I thought, oh, what's that? Picked it up, started browsing, and I was absolutely hooked by the look of what they do and the idea of what they do. And I just thought, oh my God, I've got to find out more about this. So yes, I applied, and I was accepted onto their apprenticeship scheme, which is what they had then. They have various classes now. So they have the Future Tutors programme, a degree programme. They have leisure courses, certificate and diploma courses, so there's so much going on. But yeah, so that's how I got into it. So I trained in embroidery with them, and I've worked in it and in textiles ever since. I just completely found my obsession.
The leaflet literally
fell on my feet. Yeah.
Amazing. I love stories like that. I mean, that's kind of the universe telling you that you need to do this.
Absolutely. It's that point where you kind of have to just respect that, nod your hat, tip your hat respectfully at the universe for showing you the way, really.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Because actually, that school did do the embroidery on Kate Middleton's.
Yes, wedding dress.
Did you do any of that?
I was lucky enough to work on that project.
Did you?
Yes.
Which one is yours?
So we worked across all different parts of it, so you can't point at one bit and go, that bit's mine.
Oh, I so would.
Make it up if you like.
Yeah, that one. Amazing.
Yeah, it was a lovely project, working with my colleagues, producing something that the eyes of the world was going to be on.
How many of you work on that?
That's one of the few questions I can't answer. I can't tell you how many, can't tell you how long it took. So,
is that because it's a state secret or because you just don't know?
No, I know. It's just that we're not allowed to say. We promise. We made certain promises when we worked on it, and there's a certain period of time that lasts for. So,
gosh, isn't it funny? Because everybody wants to know that.
Absolutely,
don't they? You know?
It's funny though because it's one of those things. People kind of ask questions sometimes because they're interested about the work process, but the reason why we can't talk about things like that is also because people then try and work out how much it might cost.
Oh,
and it's a private job.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely, it was a beautiful thing. The eyes of the world were on it. It was a good chance to show the world what we can do.
What you can do.
So
I mean, amazing.
We punch above our weights in the creative sector, so it's really lovely to be able to have a way of showcasing what we can do.
British all the way. Fabulous.
You know, we produce amazing things and amazing designers in this country, and we're so fortunate, and it just needs the eyes of the world on it.
Yeah.
It does, yeah, it does.
Fabulous.
So,
oh my goodness. Oh, in that case, I won't ask you questions like that again. Carrie in Texas says thanks and happy Thanksgiving from Dallas.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving.
The eyes of the world.
Thanksgiving.
On you again today. Here we are.
Lovely.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too.
Right. I wanted to show you how to put one of his little legs on.
Yes, please.
Because they're kind of segmented. So if I bring you...
Let's have a look at the bee leg.
Can you see that we've got like a little loop? And it's one of the types of metal. It's the pearl. So what I did was I created a little loop, and then I created a little loop using the pearl. So pearl as in pearl earring, pearl as in a knitting pearl.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of the metals were known as pearls. So if I just put my fingers behind it so you can see it.
Yeah.
And basically it's like a little loop, and I've overstretched it so that you don't need to actually worry about how you're overstretching it. So it's correct and ready to use.
So you've already overstretched
it.
You at home don't need to overstretch.
Yeah, it's already overstretched, so it's ready to work.
Right, so that will come in your packet. That's in that packet for you. And that's the overstretched stuff. Is that his, and he said antlers.
His antlers, his wings.
It's not a stag beetle. I've just changed his species. Antennae.
Well, it can be antlers if you like, but it is for the, we use it for the antenna, for the legs in the black colour.
Okay.
And then in the gold, we use it for the wings. So, because those are little 3D wings. So you can see that they're raised off the base of the fabric.
It is incredibly clever. Just, wow.
So what we're going to do is, for the legs,
yes,
I've marked the pattern on. So what I want to do is, using a single strand of the working thread.
Now you get this black thread in your kit. So
you do, yes. You've got the black Guttermans in the thread. You need to put a stitch just couching over it. So if that's the metal, I want to come up from underneath it and down underneath it and hold it in place like a tent peg.
Okay.
So it's just to fasten it onto the surface of the embroidery, onto the surface of the fabric. And what I'm going to do is then I'm going to stitch, because this is overstretched, I'm going to stitch into each groove. If it's a very, very simple pattern, you can stitch into every other groove and get away with it.
But not on his little hairy legs.
So, yeah, we're just trying to get it held in place so that you can just be aware when you're using silk as well. You'll end up with fluff on the back if you're not careful, it just catches. So some people like to zigzag the edge of it.
I was going to say, because you overlock the edge.
Yeah, you can zigzag or overlock it and it'll be fine. So what you're going to do is you're going to work round. So it's really straightforward, goes on quite quickly.
I love him. It's as simple as that. I love him.
It's so sweet, and it's such a lovely technique. So you can decide how long you think his first segment of his leg needs to be. You've got the guide anyway.
Oh, hang on. He's got segmented legs, hasn't he?
He has, yeah, because otherwise they wouldn't be able to move.
No, I like to be anatomically correct with my bee.
A bee a kneecap, you know. So,
kneecapping bees is not anything that I thought we'd ever discuss on any of our shows. But thank you for bringing that.
You never know where you're going with these things.
Yeah. No.
My pleasure.
Yeah, no, I'm all about the fur and kneecaps.
I love a bee's legs. So I'm holding this.
A bee knee. It's the bee's
It's
knees.
the bee's knees. Right, so I'm holding the working thread tight underneath, and that means that I can push my finger underneath this and bend it in a new direction.
Beautiful.
And can you see it's got nice body to this thread, so
Yeah.
it means that you can just change direction with it. And the beautiful thing about it is, unlike some of the other metal threads, because it's only sitting on the fabric and it doesn't have a thread core, this isn't frayable, so we don't need to leave extras. We can basically just stitch it down and have done with it. There's no tying back, there's no securing or couching and plunging at the ends, so it's so straightforward. So it's if you like metal thread, you'll love it anyway. But if you're
This is brilliant.
I know there's a low faff quotient.
Oh, I love a bit of low faff.
Me too.
I love the fact it's overstretched for us already. I have visions of you going, no, I'm not going to go to the gym today. I'm just going to stretch out these threads.
I love to think that you think I'll go to the gym.
Yeah. But not on this day. Not whilst you're busy stretching out your metal legs.
I'll hang out with you again. So we've got to the end of this segment. All we need to do is put our scissors in, snip through the pearl, and then make sure we've got a stitch into the last little segment.
Hang on. You just cut through metal with scissors.
I know.
Do you
Hold
have
the front door?
I know. Well, I know. I mean, this is like the ultimate no-no. I can hear gasps
I know.
around the world from people saying, what? Do you have a separate pair of scissors for cutting through the metal?
Basically, the metals, you can have metal scissors and they have a serrated blade, and it makes it easier, slightly easier to cut the chips and things that we do later. Some people do keep separate scissors for their metal and separate scissors for their embroidery. The only thing that will actually slightly blunt your scissors over time is the pearl because it's got more body to it than most other threads. So if you have a particularly precious pair of scissors off your Aunt Bessie, don't use your pearl with your Aunt Bessie scissors. Okay.
I jewellery make.
Yeah.
Can I use my metal?
I think
from my
they
jewellery
have to be
making.
very, very fine, because you don't want to end up crushing the end of some of your metals. So if they've got a width to the blade, then they wouldn't be suitable.
Right.
So that's why we use scissors. So just keep a separate set. I mean, you can see that these are my old faithfuls. That all the paints come off the handles and everything.
You've had those for years, haven't you?
That I have.
They've been well loved.
But you can see it doesn't wear the scissors out that quickly, because these have been with me quite a long time.
Okay.
So
no, this is good. Jacqueline says, hi, wow. Cannot see the bee pattern on the site. Is it for sale? Thanks, says Jackie. Yeah, it was. Yes, and it's now sold out. I'm really sorry, Jackie. I'm really sorry. It's such a fast and furious show today. Everything's been selling out.
Someone's got their skates on, haven't they?
They have. Well, everyone loves a bee.
Everyone loves a bee. Very popular.
Especially one with knees. Okay, so
right. So all you'd do then is you'd fill that in. So you'd use the working thread that you've got in here, and you'd just put some straight stitches in.
what, like a satin stitch?
Yes,
sort
yeah,
of? Is that what it ends up being?
So you're going
like?
to end up just like a satin stitch, just working in a loop to get some darkness into that. So it just has a bit more solidity. So if you look at the sample, you can see it's got a nice solid section in the middle.
And so solid section in the middle, and then your fluffy leg bits around the edge from the pearl.
Yeah, exactly. So it gives a nice effect, doesn't it? So it's very straightforward. And you can see those ends of the legs as well. We come back to this one.
Let's look at it.
So this is one segment work like that. This is another segment work like that.
Yeah.
And then this is just a straight stitch, and then two small straight stitches to give his little feet.
It just gets better and better, doesn't it?
He's so cute.
He is just gorgeous. And bees, of course, are the popular insect of the day.
Exactly. They're
the insect du jour.
They're the thing. They're the bomb, aren't they? They're the flower bomb. Yeah.
They are, absolutely. A world without bees is no world. We can't have a world if we don't have bees. It's as simple as that.
So they're so sweet. So so that's his little legs.
Yes.
So let's talk about how you do the sparkly parts of his body here. So I mean, so we're going to talk about this section there. So you can see that the cut work on here, which is what we call this, because you use the metals that we were talking about earlier, and you cut them to size. So,
oh, okay.
So it's called cut work, this technique. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you've got a double thread in your needle, and you'll need to make sure that you wax that as well. So it's always good because you basically don't want to catch, these metals can have sharp ends. So make sure when you cut them, if you're cutting tiny little bits off, make sure that you put your finger over the top so it doesn't ping in your eye. And also make sure that you wax your working thread, because otherwise those sharp ends can catch on fibres of the thread and stretch the metal out and makes it a bit of a pig to try and undo it.
Right,
So,
do I need my my safety goggles for this then? Or
no, I
because
just
I'm gonna be
really like the
sensible.
idea of you sitting home with your safety goggles making a bee's knee.
So look.
But
I've got some left over from the science dissection that we did. Yeah, no, they're proper
to
like the
go.
science ones. They're the proper science ones.
with the sides, I love that. I love
They're
that.
sat in my fruit bowl in the kitchen.
Natasha, can I say yes? You have to have your safety goggles on at all times. Be
Health and
ready,
safety.
be prepared.
Health and safety. Sandra says, love the demo, gutted, it's sold out.
Thank you, Sandra.
Sorry, Sandra. Now, I have another question about the wax.
Yes.
You're using what? I mean, it's bees all round, isn't it?
It's bees, yeah.
I've got Thread Magic.
Yeah.
Oh. That's a no then, right, okay.
The reason why we prefer...
Be honest, just be honest.
The reason why we prefer beeswax, they've been using it for centuries.
Okay.
It's, you want pure beeswax, it's not mixed with any paraffin, any chemicals, and it basically doesn't damage your fabric, your threads, or your metals in any way. So basically you've got little button beeswax over there, which I think you guys are selling.
Oh, we've got a button.
You do.
Look
You have
at
little
this.
buttons.
How cool is this?
So it's pure beeswax moulded into a button because that's cute. Cute as a button.
Yes.
And you know what? It's a bee's knees.
It's a bee's
And so basically, you use that to coat the thread with, and it's just to smooth down the fibres and just make your life a little bit easier, as I say, when you're working with the metals.
Do I have to just do that when I'm working with metals? Can I use it on, because I use my Thread Magic on lesser threads, slightly cheaper ones that are really pretty that I bought before I knew about good threads.
Yeah.
And it really helps stop breakage.
I'd use beeswax for that.
As well?
Yeah, as long as it's not a silk thread or a rayon, because that will affect the sheen. So it does slightly dull the sheen.
Okay.
But if that was something you particularly wanted to do, I mean, they've always used beeswax in tailoring, for example, because it helps the stitches grip to the fabric.
Right.
But it's your call if you want to give it a bash.
Give it a go.
Give it a bash. And the good thing is
the beeswax is gone.
Oh, well, it's and the good thing is it doesn't go off.
No.
So in the weather, because it's a natural material, if it goes slightly harder in the cold weather, just pop it next to your body heat, either in the waistband of your trousers or skirt, or
Stick it in your bra.
under your bra
You'll be
strap.
fine.
And it's basically it warms your body temperature. It's not going to melt. And didn't chuckle. You've got
Don't
an
pop
extra
that
bit.
one in your bra. You'd get funny looks. You would. Maybe
That's
just
true.
like
I should
there.
be looking at you that close. So,
My goodness.
it's my lucky beeswax.
Bet it is.
So the idea is basically just it will soften with your body heat, and then you get a better coverage. That's me getting my sense of water back on.
No, do. At least you're being professional.
So yeah.
We've got 5 minutes left.
Right, so the cut work, what we can do, it's a really lovely technique. All you need to do is you get a double wax thread. You're going to get your whichever appropriate colour of metal, and then you're going to lay it across. You're going to work out how big you want that to be, and then snip through it. And then all we're going to do is to put that onto the needle.
What? Oh, you thread it through. So it's like a bead.
It is like a bead. And take it all the way down to the bottom and stitch it down flat.
No, is that it?
So nice. I know, it's so cute, isn't it? It's so easy.
Is that all you do?
Wouldn't believe.
No.
Yeah. So I'm going to do another one just so you can see how they sit next to each other. It's so simple.
Oh, June says, my 2 favourite ladies.
Oh, June,
thanks,
thank
June.
you.
Should Helen's work is so inspirational. Love, June. Thank you, June. Thank you.
Love back, June.
Feeling love today. Laurie says, hi ladies, got my bees in pink. Oh, Laurie, you're going to love it. Helen, I am loving your demo and giggles with Tash. Happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, of course, Laurie is an American viewer, but she lives over in Suffolk.
thank you, Laurie.
She was flooded the other day, so Laurie, I hope you get yourself all sorted from your floods.
You're just preparing for a colony of bees to arrive.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Dawn says, morning both. Tasha, you're a scream. Sorry. Helen, you're amazing. Loving the demo. Can't wait for my kits to arrive, says Dawn in Greater London. I'm so excited for everybody to get these.
It's so sweet though, and it's such a nice technique. And as I say, when you look at the original, you can see that you just layer it up in rows. You just change your colours. So it's as difficult as that. And with the wings, all you need to do is, with your pearl, your overstretched pearl in the gold, all you need to do is to bend them into the position that you feel is the correct size.
Right.
So just
you can use
the
that
template, cut it to the correct size, and then you stitch it down exactly as we did before. Excuse me for using the double thread because it's already here.
Go for it.
So,
whilst you sort that, Judith says, hi Helen, how do you get the thread coated in beeswax? E.g., do you thread the needle first and put the whole thing through the button? Thanks, says Judith.
No, I would coat the thread first,
right,
and then put it into the needle. And you just need to keep an eye on the eye of the needle and make sure it's not blocking. Because if you're having trouble threading your needle at any point, it might just be that you've got a build-up of beeswax. So just remove accordingly. So you can see that's held in place, and then you can just bend it into position. It's so sweet. And you just layer up the two. There's two little wings on each side, so a bigger one and a slightly smaller one, and you do that for each of these sizes of bee.
But that's perfect.
It is sweet, isn't it?
Absolutely perfect. Now underneath you've used you've used some gold thread under there.
Yeah, what you can do is, this is just a normal skein of gold thread. It could be a machine thread, it could just be a skein of embroidery thread. I just popped some little stitches in so you get a little template underneath so that you get a sweet little outline. That is included on your design. That you get your little template, you can draw that on. But equally, you can just leave that off on your base drawing and just have your little 3D ones.
Because or could you like you did the legs? Could you just put a layer of this? Yeah,
you could do if you wanted.
Underneath, if you don't have gold.
You could do if you wanted to. So, or you could use the colours. You've got the embroidery skeins in the different colours for your honeycomb.
So you could use that
So you could use your gold tone to do your little wings underneath.
Perfect.
It'd be really sweet. Just use a couple of strands of that. But if there's any problems with the kit as well, if you've got any questions or technique questions, people can find me on my website as well.
Now, we're going to talk about that in just 1 minute. Sheena in Somerset says, hi ladies, loving this and got my kit. Woo! She doesn't actually say woohoo, I'm adding that in. What did Helen use to mark the pattern onto the silk, please? Well, this is another good question.
Yeah, so I'd normally use a quilting pencil.
Right.
So to mark onto the silk, use a quilting pencil, and then you can very easily remove it if you need to.
So maybe a water erasable as well, anything like that?
With the water erasable with metal, you don't really want to combine the metal with the water erasable, and particularly with the silk as well, that can leave marks.
Right.
So so I'd use a quilting pencil to be on the safe side. I used in this case, just so it's a bit clearer for you to see on the TV, I used an artist's pen, just a fine line artist pen. If you're confident you're going to cover everything, you can use that.
Well, you've done this a bit, haven't you? So that'll.
I've done it a few times.
Yeah, a couple of times.
But I'd use a quilting pencil as my first choice and just use an appropriate coloured lead.
Okay.
So just whatever you can see on the fabric you've chosen.
So you know, like the retractable ones.
Yes.
One of those.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, perfect. Oh, that's all right. Then we sell those. That's fine.
Yeah,
Sheena, I hope that helped. Oh yeah, this one. There you go. Hiding over there. It's amazing what's hiding over on the end of the desk. So this one is. Actually, this one's the white one.
It's a fabric glue pen. What?
Oh, it's a fabric glue pen. That's not
the same make.
Yeah, it's the same make.
I thought it was exactly the same. I was like,
I was looking for the colour going. Over there. They're on the website. Take a look. Lynn in Cornwall says, hi, lovely ladies. I've ordered all the Buzzy Bee kits. Whoop, whoop. Loving the show. She does actually say whoop, whoop. Loving the show. Love from Lynn by the Sea in Cornwall. She's got the most amazing view ever.
Lynn by the Sea in Cornwall.
This is stunning. So we've covered most things. Yeah. How do we do the hexy bits?
So basically they're just straight stitches. So all I did was I took single strands, or you could use double strands if you preferred, wanted a slightly heavier look. Okay. And they're just straight stitches to cover it. So if you just pop your thread in the needle, I'm just trying to find a needle here.
Right.
I've got threads in it.
Now, whilst you do this, there was one other thing you wanted to tell us about, a project that you've got going on.
So I've got a big project that I'm looking for volunteers for, which is an ongoing project that runs up until the Commonwealth Games. So it's called Threads Together. and we're basically looking to create panels and to have members of the public stitching those panels. They could do it in a group, so we've got things that we're going to be showing people.
So is this like a modern day Bayeux tapestry?
A bit like that. It's to tell the story of Britain and the Commonwealth.
Oh, wow.
So we're looking for people's stories of how they came to be in Britain, how they came to be in Birmingham, if they're in Birmingham.
Do you have to be in Birmingham, or do you just have to be in the
Birmingham.
UK?
You have to be in the UK.
Okay.
But we're looking to tell those stories and to look at Britain as a microcosm of the Commonwealth. So we've got people from all of those Commonwealth countries and territories living here.
And so they'll be bringing different techniques with them, presumably?
Absolutely. We'll be looking at different stitches. We're sharing knowledge. So we'll be using different people's existing skills.
Yeah.
So they can use those, or they'll also be learning things. They can work in groups. They can work with us in particular venues. Or we've got parts of it we'll be able to send out to people and they can stitch in their home if they prefer.
So how do we get involved?
The best way to find out more information is if they go onto my website. So it's www.traditionaltextiles with an S on the end, textiles school.com. So
traditional textiles school. So there's double S in there. Textile school.
.com. And there's you can contact me through that. There's a contact form and there's also a mailing list if they would like to go on the mailing list.
This is brilliant.
Yeah.
And we're out of time, which isn't brilliant. But thank you so much, Helen. You've been amazing.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed this hour so much. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Amazing. Amazing. Now, when I think of Helen McCook, I think of the robin and I think of the hair that's in the book, which is just beautiful. Just beautiful. So we're going to recap that in just a minute. In the meantime, let's have a look at the wax. You're going to need some. Is that what you wanted? Here we go. Here's your wax. We've discovered today we're going to need some wax. Oh, £2.79. Look at that. Was £3.99 down to £2.79. Less than 20 of these left. Very busy morning. Very busy. Right, what did you want to look at next, Chris? Oh, the metal threads. The bundle of the metal threads. Let me bring those round. Whee! Now, these will do your bees. They will do you 3 bees with wiggle room. What I mean by that is have a little practice. If you're a bit unsure, you've got wiggle room. And look, there's your silver one there as well.